0, 1. Let's get started.
Grace and peace. Happy September. I am your girl, Reverend Dr. Nicole B. Simpson. I am the CEO of Harvest Wealth Financial, and we are standing on business together. And I anticipate that you had the most enjoyable summer. And so now it really is back to life, back to reality. So this is a perfect opportunity. If you didn't tell anybody in the busyness of your summer that we were on standing on business, helping other people to mind their very own business, building, curating, establishing something that you can be proud of, today is a great day to like, subscribe, share, and share with somebody else and let them know that we're doing this thing together. We're about 6 months in from the time that I started, which is like, wow, oh my goodness. But we're also in the month of September. September typically is a birthing month. September is also the month of 9/11. So I'm going to talk about how to turn the mind of a skeptic, because that's what I promised you that I would do at the end. But then I'm going to transition somehow. We're going to make this work. Transition into really the basic components of financial trauma, because September represents that for me. And so where we left off was how to turn a skeptic into someone that can really be an ally for you. And one of the things that I began to think about, taking September into consideration, is my very own journey. This is going to be devastating for me to tell you, because I feel like as a culture, as a community, we should do better, we should have more. So post 9/11, and I'm going to tell you my story next week on 9/11 so that you'll have it, because I made that commitment to God that as long as I have breath in my lungs, I would definitely share my testimony. But immediately after September 11th, and I decided that I wasn't going to stay in corporate America, I knew that I wanted to be committed to us, helping us to build, because we did not have a plan in place prior to needing a plan. And that sat with me as the death toll continued to go up. And so I had this grand idea to address 3 particular areas. I was supposed to, based off of prayer, I was supposed to engage with the church, I was supposed to engage with the prison system, and I was supposed to engage with the educational system. And one of the things that I knew almost immediately is clearly educating those that are incarcerated. I'm going to have to tell y'all about that later on down the line. But if you follow me on Generation X and all of the work that we do, you'll know exactly what that's all about. The education aspect was predicated upon, teaching the next generation before they get into the place where they begin earning money. And so I invested heavily, and I may have told you a little bit about that. I invested heavily into the Abbott school districts in the state of New Jersey, giving my time and teaching the basic fundamentals, not only of saving, planning, and investing, but everything that you need to know the moment that you get your first job so you could ultimately be financially free. The last area was the church. And it's one of the reasons why I said it's painful, is because, quite honestly, after this experience, I said, I'm never dealing with the church again. I'm never, ever, ever dealing with the church again. But yet, here I am. At that time, I was already a CFP practitioner. I was in the industry for about 10 years. And I offered to the church back then my services to the degree of education. Let me come into your congregation. Let me talk about the basic fundamentals of investing, answering all of the questions that your congregants may have. It can be done as a Bible study, a special service, or what have you. First thing that happened, I'm out here, I'm an expert, I know, I'm on TV, I'm on radio. I'm pretty much thinking this should be a low-hanging fruit. Skeptics, remember how to make skeptics your allies. I kept calling. I was just calling different churches. First, I was calling churches that were small, medium, and large, just trying to get a phone call back. First issue that I had with the church, yes, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you, is that nobody called me back. And so in an area in which we are servants, when someone calls you, I think the least that the church can do is call them back, especially if they only need to say, we're not interested, or, we can't help you right now, or we can get a minister for you. If you don't know why someone is calling, they leave a message on your phone, churches, you ought to call them back. So that's the first issue that I had with the church. Nobody was calling me back. At that time, we're in 2002, 2003, I'm a minister. I normally didn't at the time conflate the two. So if I'm in ministry service, I'm in ministry. I'm in the church, I'm not doing that. If I'm on my professional vocation, I'm not, utilizing the services of a minister. I'm just not one that intertwined that historically. And so one day I called the church and I left a message saying that I was a minister, and they called me back. And that really hurt my heart. It really did. It hurt my heart because I wasn't calling under a ministry capacity, but that's what captured your attention. And the thing that I had an issue with is, it wasn't the fact that I was a CFP, an expert in my field. It wasn't the fact that I was Series 7, 63, 65, all of those licensures at that time, the commodities license. It wasn't any of those things that I had 10 years experience in the industry at that time. It was the fact that I was a minister. Now, I'm not slanting ministers, but the problem that we have culturally is that we oftentimes will use our ministerial weight, spiritual weight, as if it is equivalent to our secular capabilities. I'm going to say that again because that felt good to me. We oftentimes will use someone's spiritual weight as a gauge of their secular capabilities. And when we do that, when we conflate the two, thinking, I know this person is powerful in the ministry, when we conflate the two, we oftentimes can get ill-experienced individuals running through a church, hurting the people because they're learning as they go along. That's hurtful to us, especially in the area of finances. And so one of the things that I realized after a while is that there was a greater level of attraction to the fact that I was, one, a minister. And then I wrote this book. When I became an author, those credentials in our culture and community were greater credentials than the qualifications of being a CFP, which actually says, I know what it is that I'm talking about. So how did I turn us from being a skeptic into someone that is an ally in the business? Time, receipts, years of service, and proof that I am who I say that I am. So what do you need to do? Keep doing the work while you're investing into the target market, the niche market that's important to you. Skeptics, when they see capability over time, will begin to keep their eyes on you. And eventually, they may very well just call you so that they can do business with you. I know it's hard, it's long, it should be a part of your long-term agenda and not your short-term. But if you are capable of staying the course in your vocation, still pursuing them, still inviting them, still keeping them aware of where it is that you are and what you're doing from a career perspective, meaning your vocational or entrepreneurial journey, those skeptics will begin to realize, hey, they've been doing this for a while, and I have a need that lines up with what it is that they're doing. Let me give them a call. Yep, that's what they do. Listen, next week we're going to talk. I got to deviate just a little bit because I'm going to share my journey of 9/11 with you. And I pray that it will be a blessing to you that we are still here together. 24 years and I'm still standing. I'm standing on business. You heard? See you next week.